All right. Welcome back to Primo Box Club, Cozy in My Blankie edition. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling pretty cozy right now. It's the evening. It's actually pretty late. I'm recording this at 11 p.m. because you know what? I was like, let's let the whole day slip by, and then I'll just eventually record. And was it a terrible idea? Absolutely, yes. It was a dumb fucking idea. But we're here, and we're doing it, and it's happening. If you see me looking around, scatterbrained and worried, it's because it's so late that I'm like, wow, I really left it to the last minute here, huh? But you know what? Whatever, man. You know, I'm still doing it, still recording, still gonna put it out. And you, if you're listening, thanks, first off. Hopefully you like it. And if you don't, you know what? That's too bad. I really hoped you would enjoy it, but I can't do fucking everything, okay? So, today is February 24th, 2024, okay? And I thought I would start off today by talking about a couple things that happened on February 24th. You know? So, let's talk about it. I think it's cool to talk about, number one, cool people that were born on this day. Like, whose birthday is it today? Steve Jobs, who was responsible for this fucking thing, and the thing on which I'm filming this, the iPhone. Now, by all accounts, Steve Jobs was a real piece of shit. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can take his daughter's word for it. Not the nicest guy. Not the greatest guy. And God was like, you know what? Pow. Pancreatic cancer. Eat that. I don't think that's why he did it, but, you know, sometimes shit just happens to shitty people. If I remember this correctly, he was like, his real parents, sorry, not real, his biological parents were Syrian, and then he was adopted in California, and then he, you know, did everything he did. Also, I found out, apparently his cancer was pretty treatable, which, by the way, in terms of cancers, pancreatic is probably the worst one you can fucking get. It's gnarly. Not a lot of people survive that. But apparently God was like, you know what? Let's give him a chance. Here you go. It's treatable. And he was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to eat raspberries and drink fish oil and do some fucking weird, you know, some stupid fucking diet. And then he died. So, you know, whatever, man. Sometimes that's just how it goes. You decide to be brave and fucking eat berries and nuts and just tell cancer you're going to heal. And it doesn't want to hear it. Cancer doesn't care. Pancreatic cancer is like, you know what? Fuck those berries. Fuck those nuts. I'm killing you, dog. It's over. Rest in piss. Horrible. Anyway, rest in peace, Steve Jobs. Thanks for the iPhone. Really appreciate it. The iPod Shuffle, sick. Very cool. We were actually just talking about like the first iPhones the other day. How the original apps that were like the big cool things you could do on your iPhone were like, you know, the app you had where it was like a glass of beer on your iPhone and you just turn it on and go, boop, 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 boop. And it was just pretend you drank beer from your phone. Literally shit that like a caveman would do if you gave him an iPhone, you know? Like a child's understanding of technology and just going like, I want to do something that looks cool. Let me get a Zippo lighter on my phone and go. It was cool. It was cool as shit. I would have like these weird fake gun apps on my phone. I'd be like, sorry, yawning. Because it's 1 billion in PM. I would have like a fake Desert Eagle on my iPhone and be like, you know, just doing stupid shit on my phone. My parents never let me have toy guns growing up, and probably for the best. But did I resent it? A little bit. Just a tiny little bit. A normal amount of resentment. Like I didn't shoot up a school or anything about it, but, you know, I wasn't thrilled. I eventually got my hands on like a little cap gun. You know, the ones that have the little tiny bits of gunpowder in them. It sounds like a revolver from the 1800s when you shoot it, you know? It sounds like the shit they used to kill Abraham Lincoln. I remember shooting that revolver and it was like, and I was like, that's the last thing Abe heard. Which, by the way, I didn't know this, but apparently he didn't die at the theater. Abraham Lincoln was just going for like 8 days in the hospital before he croaked. So, just think of that guy the next time you look at a $5 bill, right? Just think of him in his hospital bed going, fuck, man. For like 7 days. Also, his son's name was Tad. Weird. Tad Lincoln. What the fuck? Anyways, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was also born today. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is my favorite illiterate person. I don't know if you're familiar with his difficulties with the English language, but the hardest fight Floyd Mayweather has ever had in his fucking life is against the English language. Floyd Mayweather is arguably the greatest boxer of all time. Definitely one of the best, if not the best, defensive boxers ever. The guy would hit and not get hit, and he knew people wanted to see him get hit, so he marketed really fucking well, and he made gazillions of dollars, right? And he would market his fights to be on like Cinco de Mayo or some other thing that would piss off Mexicans, basically to be like, nah, wey, quiero ver este pinche Floyd Mayweather morir en el pinche ring, So he was just trying to do shit like that, and it worked. It paid off big time for Mr. Floyd. But, undefeated record, 50-0. However, he did face a formidable opponent. And an ad read with the English language. Check this shit out. I'm just going to look up Floyd Mayweather reading and see what comes up. Oh, here we go. Floyd Mayweather struggling to read a teleprompter.
Hip-hop is constantly evolving. The number of female MCs is once again expanding and growing in range.
Pretty good.
Each of these women are fierce on
Okay.
the mic and can hold it down, doing just what the fellas do, but in better shoes.
He's doing great. What?
Are the nominees for best female hip-hop artist.
Listen, man. I gotta say, was it the best cadence of all time? No. Did he sound like a professional? No. But he did get through it. Could have been a lot worse. A lot fucking worse. I'll tell you what is worse, though. Oh, man, actually, that reminds me. The whole, like, Floyd Mayweather can't read thing gave us one of the greatest images of all time. The 50 Cent don't care, didn't ask, don't care, plus you're white. That meme. That came from Floyd Mayweather and 50 beefing. Oh, my God, I got to look that up. That shit was so funny. Hold on. Oh, here we go.
Woke up, I look at the computer say, Floyd said, fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what'd he say fuck me for? Nelly fucked your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fucking fiance, say fuck that nigga.
That face is so good. Got real sassy there at the end. Oh, man. And then, the legendary ALS bucket challenge call out to Floyd.
This is a special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want. Fuck the bucket ice. Phone call from my man Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy said if Floyd accepts the challenge, then he'll put it on the actual show, so you can read it on the show. We don't want to put pressure on it. We know you can't pronounce those words in that Harry Potter book, so we're gonna let you read Cat in the Hat.
Dude, 50 Cent is a legendarily petty human being. That guy, I don't think he's ever let a grudge go ever in his goddamn life. Nor should he. Many people have tried to actually murder him. So I think once that happens to you, you're not exactly a forgiving type, But yeah, man, 50 Cent was shot 9 goddamn times. And every time he does some shit like this, I'm like, yeah, I know. I can see that. I understand why he was shot 9 times. That makes perfect sense to me. He just celebrated Irv Gotti's death. But again, Irv Gotti kind of tried to kill him. So, At least he's very transparent about it. He's not pretending to be like, you know what, it is with great sadness that I mourn the death. He's like, fuck Irv Gotti. I hope it hurt. You know? That's him. That's not me. That's him. But yeah, 50 Cent is like, also, by the way, a goddamn genius. Like, he really is a fucking insane business genius and just understands music and understands so many facets of business. Like, the guy's a fucking... You should read his books. You really should. I wouldn't read the 50 Laws of Power because that's kind of just... That was mostly for the other guy. That was for Robert Greene. That was for the guy who did 48 Laws of Power to have a little street cred, essentially. I would read Get Rich or Die Trying. You know, read one of his other books. But yeah, the guy's a genius. He will never let a grudge go. He's the pettiest human being of all time, and it's fucking hilarious. It's super entertaining. But one of my favorite people 50's involved with is Tony Yayo. Tony Yayo seems like the most loyal, genuine guy a man could ever ask for as a friend. Like, he always defends 50 no matter what. No matter what the situation is, he's always like, I got 50's back. And he's fucking hilarious too. Like that one video where he's talking to Vlad. And he goes, look at this face. Vlad, shut the fuck up. The craziest, like, what are you talking about face. Anyway, I love Tony Yayo. Okay. So, 50 Cent beefing with Floyd Mayweather. One of the hardest fights he ever faced. The English language whooped Floyd Mayweather's ass. There's a legendary video of him trying to get through a Breakfast Club read. And it's hard. Check this out.
Now, if you haven't heard, 50 Cent and I guess Floyd Mayweather been going back and forth. And Floyd, yesterday, 50 Cent took to Instagram. And
he challenged Floyd to a read-off.
But he was responding to comments that Floyd allegedly said about him, saying that him, T.I., and Nelly weren't relevant anymore and they don't sell albums anymore.
He didn't say those names, though.
He didn't say their names at all.
Right.
So
Okay.
let's play what 50 posted on Instagram yesterday.
This is a special ASLELS challenge.
Classic
for you,
ALS
Floyd.
challenge.
If you
Call
read
out again.
One full page of a Harry Potter book, and I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. The bucket of ice, man.
Okay.
Play the other one. Play the Cat in the Hat one.
A phone call from my man Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy said,
Cat in the Hat.
accepts the challenge, that he'll put it
All right,
on
let's
the
skip ahead a
actual-
little bit.
So I had our producer.
And if you don't know what drops are, that's when they just say, hey, you're
This is
listening to...
DJ Envy, and I'm listening to
So this is Floyd Mayweather trying to get through a drop on the Breakfast Club. A drop is like, you're listening to the Breakfast Club, like that kind of shit, right?
right now.
So I had our producers pull up the unedited audio of him reading drops. Now,
That's fucked up.
This is
Charlamagne
the
would do
drop.
that,
Oh
but
my goodness.
He was
Okay,
reading.
let's see.
Envy, I need you to time me on this, okay?
All right.
I'm going to read this drop.
Hold on. Let me get my...
Now, keep in mind,
Ready?
Charlamagne's not the best reader either, so we don't know how long this is going to
I
take.
need the exact time, okay?
This is disrespectful, but
You
let's
ready?
go.
okay, here we go.
I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I've joined iHeartRadio for the Show Your Stripes movement to support hiring vets. Go to showyourstripes.org, a website that connects veterans with employers and helps business find candidates with the best training. How long was that?
10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds.
That was okay.
This is Floyd
Whatever.
Mayweather.
But
Wait.
This is
10
not
seconds.
nice.
not gonna lie, that would probably trip me up. That doesn't sound that simple. That sounds a little complicated. But anyway, let's go.
Okay, this is disrespectful.
This
you
is-
sure? You...
Hey, shut the hell up. I'm always sure. I don't give a damn. Okay? This is Floyd Mayweather reading the 10-second drops I just did.
Here we go.
I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I've joined Heart Radio for the show. Your stripes. Okay.
Damn.
I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I've joined Heart Radio for the show. Your stripes movement to support hiring vets. I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I've joined Heart Radio for the show. Your stripes movement
Dude, it's
to
great.
support
It's like he's putting. It's like he's Christopher Walken.
I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I've joined Heart Radio for the show. Your stripes movement to support.
Damn, dude, he thinks I've joined Heart Radio for the show. Your stripes movement, like he thinks it's two different sentences. That's fucking nuts. How many times do you think you have to be punched in the head until you start reading like, you know, you're an ESL student? I think it's like 2-3 pro fights. You start stumbling like that. I think it doesn't take as many hits as people think it does. You know? Good Lord. I'm Floyd Mayweather. I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I got kicked in the fucking head over and over, and now I don't know how to read. To be fair, who's to say he ever learned in the first place? You know, this might not be information that was beaten out of him. This might be information that was never beaten into him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I'm guessing this young man, learned about boxing when he was quite young. Probably was not an, academic pursuits kind of guy. Not that I blame him. He comes from like boxing royalty, essentially. And yeah, it kind of paid off for him, didn't it? Yeah. I think if he had chosen the whole school route, he probably would have been a very successful, I don't know, fucking tire shop owner or something. And that, some people are just not meant for that lifestyle. You're supposed to get punched in the head until your shit is scrambled eggs, and then try and read an ad and almost have a fucking stroke, and then beef with one of the greatest rappers of all time. Maybe that's your destiny. I'm not saying it's your destiny, person that's listening, but it's someone's destiny for sure, What the fuck else happened on February 24th? Oh, you know what the big one was? 2 years ago, you folks might remember this. Actually, 3 years ago, a little guy named Vladimir Putin decided, you know what? Ukraine's looking too calm right now. You know how we annexed Crimea 8 years ago? Let's get in there. Crimea River, Zelensky. I'm about to take this shit over. And he just straight up invaded Ukraine. Yep. I remember exactly where I was when this happened. It was actually really fucking funny. I was at an Olive Garden for the first time. It was me, my friend Dane, and my other friend Chris. And we were at this Olive Garden. And we were just like contemplating the whole thing. Basically, we were convinced we were about to be conscripted into the fucking American army. And we're going to get sent over to Ukraine to... I think the joke is we were going to like play Warzone in real life. Like Warzone Ukraine. Not Verdansk, like fucking Pripyat or Chernobyl or something. Warzone Kiev. And Chris is convinced he was going to get, sent to the army the next day. He was like, fuck, man, it's really happening. God damn it. Nothing happened, obviously. But, for a hot second there, I was like, you know what? I think I signed up for the selective service system. Like, I think they'll send me over there, I'm not an American. And they'll be like, this guy can be cannon fodder. Fuck him. We don't care about him. Anyways, I'm not going to use slurs. I'm not going to slur my words. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's been 3 years, and I don't think anything has been accomplished, really. I'm no geopolitical expert, but if I had to guess, I wouldn't say the situation's, peaches and cream over there. Seems pretty fucked up. Seems like nobody actually wants to be there. So I don't really understand the situation. Now, am I what you might call retarded? Sure. So maybe don't come to me for, geopolitical discussion. Maybe that's not what you're interested in. But I really don't understand the struggle for this plot of land. I understand that there are, wonderful minerals there that many people want to get their hands on, and that Ukraine is responsible for like all of the wheat in Europe, essentially. But is that enough to fucking hostile take over a country? I remember the reason they try to justify it at first is like, Ukraine is filled with neo-Nazis. And it's like, well, yes, but, is that enough to just get in there? I don't think that's enough. By that logic, you can invade the U.S. right now. There's a lot of those guys right now. They're getting real bold, real courageous all of a sudden. I don't know where this courage was a couple years ago, But now these guys are fully out here sending their heart out to everybody. My heart goes out to you guys. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. If you're one of those people that defended Elon Musk when he sent his heart out to everybody, go fuck yourself, because you know what you're doing. There's only two things you're doing. Either you are retarded enough that you think he actually didn't mean it, or he meant it, but you're so caught up in your own, identity politic bullshit that you can't admit that this guy just did a fucking Nazi salute twice because you like him. And while you do work at T-Mobile, you one day will also be a billionaire, because that's the American dream. yes, you're trying to sell people in the 360 coverage plan right now, and you're trying to convince a single mother of 6 that she does need roaming on her phone. She's never left North Carolina, but she needs roaming for some reason, right? But yeah, dude, one day, don't you worry, you're gonna sell enough courses that you will be a billionaire. And then those tax cuts, oh, buddy, let me tell you, those tax cuts are gonna save your ass. You hear me? Yeah, dude, I don't know how anyone can look at that shit with a straight face and be like, yeah, this guy cares about me. This guy wants me to succeed. I don't know. It's so ridiculous. Another thing that happened on February 24th. Remember that guy? Harvey Weinstein, remember that cool guy? Yeah, he was arrested. Or rather, he was convicted on February 24th, 2020. And then he went to prison, and I'm pretty sure he might be released, which is... Oh, man. Imagine the movie about that, huh? Produced by the Weinstein Company. They get like Liam Hemsworth to play him. Or some other really hot guy. Casts him, he casts himself. Jesus Christ. I heard some really weird shit about that guy. Apparently he has like... Man, I cannot stop yawning. Jesus. Apparently he has like a fucked up type of gangrene called like Fournier's gangrene. And it was like exactly where you would hope it wouldn't happen to you as a man. This guy basically had a gangrenous penis, dude. Like this guy... do you understand how fucking... how like biblically fucked up that is? That seems like a curse placed on a person who really deserved that. A fucking sex criminal gets his gangrene on his cock. Dude, what? Like, God has the best sense of humor. I swear to God. It's like that Andrew Schultz bit about Christopher Hitchens, Christopher Hitchens used to debate atheists, or rather, he used to debate Christians, because he was an atheist, about how God wasn't real, and he made his living through talking to people about it, and then God gave him vocal cord cancer. It's like, come on, man. Don't make it so obvious. But yeah, it's so fucking weird how that happens. Fuck Harvey Weinstein. I hope he rots in hell for the rest of his life. But there is a slight chance he might come out of this thing relatively unscathed, which is, I guess that's the American dream. Or better yet, bro, that's the American nightmare, dude. That's your brain exploding from how deep that shit was. Yeah, maybe if you're 13. Anyway, speaking of brains exploding, I don't know why this topic came up recently, but I was talking to a friend about last meals. Like, what would my last meal be? If, God forbid, I was ever put on death row for something, I don't fucking know. But what would my last meal be? Right? And maybe this is pandering to my roots or something like that, but I really do think, like, yeah, it probably would be like rice, beans, and meat. Like a picanha or something. Right, yeah, you know what? Rice, beans, meat, picanha, and like a nice vinaigrette. And then a guaraná to wash it down. Oh, yeah, dude. I know it literally sounds like I'm just pandering to Brazilian people, but I'm dead serious. That probably would be what I would want to go out on. Either that or my mom's stroganoff. Stroganoff? I wish I could be stroganoff before I went, dude. I don't think they let you bust the last one before you go. Go out with a bang. I don't think... what if that was your like last meal? You're like, I just want to bust one last time. Will you fellas give me that? And they're like, no, you assassinated the president. And you're like, oh, well, had to ask, boys. But no, I think my last meal would be like, yeah, one of those two. And then some nice ice cream. Ooh. Or maybe like, you can get clever with it. For your execution, you could just be like, I would like an entire bottle of whiskey, please. And they just chug the whiskey. And you're so fucked up, you're like, I don't even care, bro. Fucking stick it in. And they just fill you with that lethal injection that apparently is not humane at all. It just liquefies your insides or whatever the fuck. There's so many stories about people being injected with a lethal injection and like writhing in pain, even though it's supposed to be like a relatively painless process. But I mean, do I feel bad for those guys? Not really. I mean, if you deserve a death penalty, brother, you probably did some fucked up shit. But there have been quite a few people who were exonerated post-mortem. So, that gets real tricky. Real fucking tricky. Knowing that you killed a guy when you didn't have to because he didn't really do anything. But just a little oopsie of the judicial system, it happens, you guys. Who amongst us has not innocently killed a man? Okay? Through a state for-profit prison. Who amongst us has not done that? Cast the first stone. He was not done that. God. The hypocrites in this world. But that inspired me to look up, famous last meals, or rather just like odd last meals on death row. So, the last meals, famous last meals. Timothy McVeigh, remember that guy? If you don't remember Timothy McVeigh, he was responsible for the Oklahoma City bombing. He had mint chocolate chip ice cream. Sick. You know what? Pretty good. Pretty nice selection, I'll be honest. John Wayne Gacy. Yeah, you remember that guy. Big time clown. He was put to death in Illinois by lethal injection at the age of 52. God, I didn't even know he was sick. He was sentenced to death for rape and 33 counts of murder. Good fucking Lord. One murder for every year Christ was alive. For his last meal, Gacy requested 12 fried shrimp. Okay. A bucket of original recipe KFC. Okay. French fries. Sick. And a pound of strawberries. What the fuck? A pound of strawberries? What the fuck is that? Anyway, the reason why he asked for KFC is because he managed 3 KFCs before he got arrested. So, if you work in fast food or any sort of service industry and you don't like your manager, odds are he might be a serial pedophile, rapist, murderer, clown. Like John Wayne Gacy. I'm not saying he is, but there is a non-zero chance, just statistically speaking, thanks to this guy. There's a Sufjan Stevens song about John Wayne Gacy. I don't love it. It is a well-written song, but I don't like when people humanize these pieces of shit. I really don't. It's just that's my big gripe with a lot of true crime people too, is like, I like when people write about the victims. I like when people write about the families. I like when people talk about, the person to whom the crime committed. I'm not trying to find out like, and then he brutally stabbed her in her pancreas 37 times. Like, that feels like some guy's just going, like he's just jerking off as he's writing that. It seems fucked up to me. Like the person's family could hear this, could read it, like, I don't know, man. It just seems kind of fucked up, God. Ricky Ray Rector. Was he sentenced to death because of his fucking name? Jesus. 2 counts of murder. He was put to death in Arkansas by lethal injection at the age of 42, my favorite number. For his last meal, Rector, mentally incapacitated. Ooh, good. So they fucking killed a retarded guy? Jesus. His defense team argued. Oh, yeah. Okay. So his defense team argued that he was mentally incapacitated during his time. So he wasn't retarded, and then he got to prison and was like, you know what? Anyways, he requested steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, and pecan pie. He left the pecan pie behind, though, telling a guard he was saving it for later. You know what? I respect that. Just one last bit before you go. I'm saving it for later, bro. Good Lord. Steven Anderson, put to death in California by a lethal injection at the age of 49, sentenced to death for burglary, assault, that's not so bad, 7 counts of murder, okay, that makes sense, and escaping from prison. All right. That seems a bit harsh. I mean, except for the 7 counts of murder thing, that's pretty appropriate. For his last meal, Anderson requested 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, what is he, 5? A pint of cottage cheese, how white is this guy, Jesus, a hominy/corn mixture. Okay. Could be Mexican. Mexicans love hominy. A little pozole action. Peach pie. Cool. Chocolate chip ice cream, hell yeah, my guy. And radishes. What the fuck? There's always something in there. With Gacy, it was a pound of strawberries. This guy's radishes. If someone gave me radishes, I think I'd be like, please execute me. Good Lord. No thanks. Angel Nieves Diaz was put to death in Florida by lethal injection at the age of 55. He was sentenced to death for murder. Okay. Classic situation. Kidnapping and armed robbery. I always think it's funny whenever there's someone like responsible for a horrible fucking crime, they list the horrible thing they did and then all these like other ancillary like smaller crimes that they were a part of. Like Norm Macdonald has a bit about it where this guy killed and raped raped and killed like a bunch of nurses or something, and then they were like 5 counts of murder, 6 counts of rape, 1 count of breaking and entering. It's like, dude, whatever. Fuck that. Like, that doesn't matter at all. But, you know, it's just so funny how that works. Or when someone gets like 8 life sentences. I used to think that shit was so stupid. I'd be like, what the fuck's gonna happen? Like, he's gonna reincarnate and do that 7 more times. He's gonna do his time 8 fucking times. But as I understood it, it made more sense where it's like, okay, for each one of these counts, he's getting the life sentence. So if his team somehow manages to beat this one charge, he still has, you know, it's like a guarantee that there's no fucking way this guy could ever overturn this result, right? But anyway, Angel Nieves Diaz here, he was put to death, lethal injection, age 55. He declined the last meal, so he was served the regular prison meal, which he declined to eat as well. Okay, trying to go to heaven or hell. Probably hell, let's be real. Trying to go to hell on an empty stomach is pretty metal, I guess. You know? Ronnie Lee Gardner. I thought it was going to say Ronnie Radke for a second, but Ronnie Lee Gardner was put to death in Utah by firing squad. Holy fuck, Utah's metal, dude. At the age of 49. He was sentenced to death for burglary, robbery. Okay, seems a bit harsh. 2 counts of murder. There it is. Okay, lead with the murder. Lead with that. Don't bury the lead later in the story. Oh yeah, he was killed for 2 parking tickets and genocide. It's like, dude, okay, start with that. Start with that part, and then tell me about like a traffic infraction he had. You know? God, for his last meal, he requested steak, my man. A lobster tail, my man again. Apple pie, hell yeah. Vanilla ice cream, fuck yeah. And to eat it all while watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Okay, clever. He's like, let me pick a 9-hour series of movies. Listen, they're about to kill the guy. It's the least they could do. Fuck it, just let him watch the movie. Oh, this is probably the most famous guy here. Ted Bundy. Yeah, Zac Efron. Ted Bundy, one of the most notorious serial killers in American history, was put to death in Florida by electric chair at the age of 43. He was sentenced to death for R-wording, necrophilia, prison escape, and more than 35 counts of murder. Holy fuck. 35 is nuts. Jeez, man. He declined his special meals. He was given the traditional last meal. Steak cooked medium rare, eggs over easy, hash browns, toast with butter and jelly, milk and juice, a.k.a. a roofer's breakfast. Holy shit. That's a lot of meat, man. It's probably one of those like Tom and Jerry ass steaks, you know, like fucking looks like a dinosaur's thigh was cut in half. You know what I'm talking about? If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. No shit. What a useless sentence. But talking about lethal injection and all that shit reminded me of this sketch The Onion did a couple of years ago. By a couple of years, I do mean 16 years. Oh my God, this video's from 16 years ago. Fuck, man, we're going to die soon. We're getting old. 16 years is insane. Holy shit. Oh my God. That's had an existential breakdown. Anyway, 16 years ago, The Onion made this video about... The title is Supreme Court, Death Penalty is Totally Badass, in quotes.
In Washington today, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down a landmark decision despite the growing number of death row inmates who've been exonerated due to DNA evidence. The court reaffirmed the legality of the death penalty on the grounds that it is, quote, totally badass. For more on the case, we go live now to Onion News Network Washington correspondent Jane Carmichael. Hi, Jane.
Good to see you, Michael.
How did the Supreme Court come to their decision on this ruling?
Well, Michael, it began this morning when the lawyers for the petitioner presented to the court a videotaped lethal injection that showed an inmate writhing in pain before dying. As the tape played, Justice Kennedy said, quote, whoa. Justice Alito remarked, quote, holy shit. And Justice Ginsburg said, quote, that's wicked.
And what was the defense counsel's response to that?
Well, following the video, Chief Justice John Roberts said,
a degree
while
of
evidence
fallibility
presented to the court indicates a degree of fallibility in the procedural methods of capital punishment, it is the opinion of this court that the practice remains
hella fucking balls to the wall.
At that point, the decision seemed fairly
Good
certain.
Lord.
Was there any dissent to the opinion by the Chief Justice?
Actually, very little. Justice Clarence Thomas supported the argument immediately, citing the precedent set by the movie 300, in which the offending parties were, quote, kicked into a huge fucking pit. Justice Samuel Alito then stated, yeah, or like Judge Dredd. Justice
I remember
Scalia then stated quite loudly, quote, I am the law.
That's the catchphrase from the film,
Yes,
Judge.
I'm the
yes,
law.
it is. Then there followed approximately 1 minute of all of the justices individually claiming that they were the law.
The justices, I'm told, came down with a decision fairly quickly. Is that correct?
They certainly did. The court also took the rather unusual step today of submitting not just a written decision, but also drawings by all of the justices illustrating, quote, more badass punishments.
The final ruling was 8-1 in favor of the respondent.
God, this
Tell us
show's so
about
good.
The lone dissenting vote then.
Sure. That one came from Justice Anthony Kennedy. He stated that the death penalty is, in fact, too lenient a punishment, and that sentencing inmates to life without parole seemed, quote, way more brutal because it's like they're on some sort of prison colony in the future where they just have to fight for the rest of their lives.
Some Supreme Court experts are saying that
dude.
today's ruling is similar to the 2005 ruling in Torchinsky versus Peterson, that it is legal to carry a concealed weapon as long as the weapon is totally slick, like a huge-ass machine gun that you carry under a trench coat, like in The Matrix. Is that right?
God, when
Right,
the
that's
Onion used to
correct.
make these
Legal
videos,
experts
man, it was so good. And by the way, one of my favorite parts of this sketch is at the Chiron, when she's talking about the report. It says special report: death penalty opponents called lame ass pussies in landmark ruling. Dude, there's another The Onion sketch that is so fucking funny. It's about, like, 9/11 conspiracy theorists have been around forever, but it's about a guy arguing the 9/11 attacks with one of the terrorists who was involved in it. And the guy's going like, he's like, I have here the voucher for the flight lessons for the guy who crashed the plane into the World Trade Center. And the guy's like, who gave you that? President Bush himself? This is insane. This is ridiculous. And the guy, dude, the terrorist in the sketch goes, okay, how about this? Go to the Washington Monument on October 7th, October 7th, 2012. Take the family. You will see how good we are at planning things. Dude, it's so fucking good. Oh, man. I miss these videos. I wish The Onion would still make these kind of things. There's a really, really famous one that was, I think it was Sony makes new piece of shit that doesn't fucking work. That was the headline. And I remember The Onion, dude. Well, the first time I heard about The Onion, my dad, we had just moved to DC. This is back when it was like a real newspaper you could buy. My dad just bought a newspaper. Like, he bought The Onion thinking it was a regular newspaper. And the headline was like, John McCain had proposed a new defense budget or something for the White House, like a new plan of defense. And it was just a kid's drawing in crayons with like a moat and alligators and like a pit and all this other shit. And my dad believed it for like 5 seconds, and then he realized he was reading a satire newspaper. But fuck, man, so good. I miss The Onion. Oh, man, way too good. But, thinking about last meals, death row, all that stuff, it reminded me that Japan, the way they do death row is pretty nuts. Like, they don't tell prisoners when they, get sentenced to, like, oh, your time's coming. Like, every day could be the day of their execution. If you're on Japanese death row, one day you wake up and they just, like, straight up tell you, hey, you're going to die in about 10 minutes. and then they just take the guy, and I think they hang them in Japan. I'm not sure. Maybe it's lethal injection. I don't know. But actually, let's look it up. Japanese death penalty and see what's up with that. Oh, wow. There are currently 107 prisoners awaiting. Good Lord. There are currently 107 death row inmates awaiting execution in Japan. Japan is one of 4 developed democracies worldwide to actively apply the death penalty. Jeez, man. Ugh. Yeah, see, okay. Executions are carried out by long drop hanging, which is, the OG hanging. None of this short drop bullshit. Okay. By the way, this is an uncomfortable fact. A lot of the time when there's a successful hanging, you don't die from asphyxiation. You die from having your neck snapped from the gravity of just dropping from the top and And if that is done correctly, a lot of the time, if you're a guy, they get they get hard after they die. Something about how the vertebrae are severed and then all the blood kind of pulls up at the bottom or just directs blood up there. So that must be fucking weird. You kill this guy and then you just see bonered corpse. That can't be good for you, man. God, imagine having that job. You're the gallows man at the Japanese prison. Fuck. No thanks, dog. No thank you. Anyway, so Japanese death row is pretty fucking metal. They're just like any day could be your last. So might as well enjoy it, my friend. You know what? Give me 6 fucking crispy tunas. Why not? Double it up. I'll have 2 omurices, actually. I'm feeling a little, if it's a special day, I'm just going to pig out. I started a new show with my girlfriend called Common Side Effects. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but Common Side Effects is really fucking cool. It's like an animation, an adult animation. That sounds like I'm describing hentai, but no, it's like Rick and Morty, that kind of stuff. And it has the insane, distinction of being an adult animation that doesn't look like fucking shit. Because so many of them do, and I don't know what's up with that. It's like so many of it looks like the most low effort, ugly animation style. And this actually is really, really cool. Like it seems to be hand animated for most of it, but it's got like some very cool, almost like rotoscoped stuff going on. Anyway, the premise for the show is this guy is kind of like a hippie sort of dude, and he discovers a panacea, like a drug that heals everything. And then he accidentally bumps into a girl he went to high school with who was like his lab partner. And it becomes a story of one guy who literally has the most powerful drug in the world. It's a mushroom. He's got the most powerful plant-based drug in the world. And now Big Pharma's after him. The government's after him. Everybody essentially is after him. And he and this girl have to try to make it work. And he wants to give it to the world, and it becomes like a really, really complicated but intense show. Cool thing is, it's really well animated. It's really funny too. Like sometimes it's hard to nail that tone, but yeah, dude, fucking sick show. And I can already tell they're gonna deal with that topic in a very nuanced, intelligent way. But it's pretty cool, man. I really, really like it so far. We binged the whole thing. It's so far there's 5 episodes out and they're all 22 minutes long because it's an Adult Swim show, and I don't think any Adult Swim show is longer than 30-minute block. So yeah, 22 minutes because you got to add, ads and all that. But yeah, we binged 5 22-minute episodes in a row essentially, and we fucked up because now we want more. We have to wait a week. But really cool show, highly recommend it. And it kind of got me interested in this idea of a cure-all, a drug that just treats everything. And it reminded me of like snake oils and all that kind of stuff that used to be sold in the Wild West. And the idea of a cure-all, like these drugs, I'm sure the concept has been around forever. So I decided to look it up. And turns out, cure-alls have been around for a while. So check this out. The concept of cure-alls and snake oils has been around for centuries, dating back to ancient civilizations where elixirs, tonics, and potions were marketed as remedies for a wide range of ailments. In ancient Egypt, Greece, and China, herbal mixtures and tonics were believed to have healing powers. Classic, you know? I mean, I know Egypt did a lot of weird shit with that. But China, that makes sense too. Chinese medicine today is still like, I'm not saying it's witch doctor shit, but there's a lot of stuff that's like, no, don't take that. Take this mixture of herbs. Which, by the way, like, synthetic medicine has organic roots for the most part. So it's just like, yeah, the herbs you're taking probably do have the active compound that are in the drugs you don't want to take. But, you know, whatever. It's you're trading 6 for half a dozen kind of. Anyway, during the Middle Ages, alchemists and apothecaries, great word, created potions claiming to extend life or cure diseases. Yeah, dude, I played Skyrim. I know what those are, you know? The idea of a potion is fucking cool, but yeah, no such thing, I'm afraid. In the 19th century, the term snake oil originated from Chinese medicine, where oil from the Chinese water snake was used for joint pain. Now, did it actually help? Probably not. In the U.S., traveling salesmen and medicine shows in the 1800s sold questionable patent medicines, often including alcohol, opium, or other substances with little actual medicinal benefit. The most infamous was Clark Stanley's snake oil, which was exposed as a fraud in 1917. It contained no real snake oil at all. Which the fucking irony that even snake oil was a scam, you know? So funny. If you ever played Red Dead Redemption, the first one, there's there's like a little arc in the story where you basically fuck up a snake oil salesman's racket. It's pretty fun. Anyway, the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906 was the first major step in cracking down on false medicinal claims. I guess that was like the precursor to the FDA and all that. Over time, regulatory agencies like the FDA began enforcing stricter guidelines on health claims. But don't worry, guys. RFK Jr. is coming, and he's going to tear all that shit down. It's going to be raw milk, TRT, and mushrooms, and you'll be fine. Okay? You have AIDS? Not anymore. Drink this milk, buddy. You're good. RFK, thank God for that guy, dude. I can't wait to have a guy that sounds like he's writing a Sibian every time he fucking talks. The picture of health. A man with worms in his brain going, I think you should drink this milk. I'm good, man. Thanks. I'm sorry the CIA murdered everyone you've ever known. But listen, in Brazil, certain cheeses are only made with raw milk. Sure, I get it, you know? But, dog, it's just such a gamble for like almost no benefit. The whole raw milk shit is so crazy to me. It's like pasteurization, you're just heating something up. Sure, it's a radiation process. Yeah, but the half-life is really short. You're not actually getting radiated milk. That's not how that works. You know? A banana has more fucking radiation than the milk you're drinking. Whatever. You know what? I don't have time to get into that shit. Anyways, nowadays, of course, the term snake oil is used as a metaphor for unproven or deceptive health products like, you know, olive goop, essentially, including some dietary supplements, alternative therapies, and pseudoscientific treatments. I'm not going to lie, I do like me some pseudoscientific treatments once in a while. I won't say which ones, I'll let you figure that out. But I think some of them have some merits, you know. I did a Reiki thing one time. Not going to lie, kind of helped me. Now, was it all in my head? Was it most likely placebo? Yeah. Do I care? I do not. You couldn't see it if you were just listening, but I was shaking my head pretty hard there. Yeah, man. I think a lot of alternative medicines and whatever are just things that traditional medicine can't explain or really help. So I'll say this, like if you're out of options, you're going to turn to some real alternative shit pretty fast, and then it might work. So I think some of it has merit, some of it is bullshit, but it's kind of up to you to figure it out, you know? So I started thinking, like, have there ever been any drugs that were close to being a panacea of sorts, or like any kind of drug that you could argue healed multiple things at once, right? Like basically what's the closest we've ever gotten to having an actual panacea, right? So In the 19th century, or ancient times till the 19th century, opium and morphine basically were seen as like wonder drugs, right? So used for centuries as a painkiller, opium derivatives were once believed to treat everything from coughs to diarrhea. Imagine, okay, you have diarrhea. So you're like, I'm going to do opium and it'll fix this, right? I know opioids make you not shit, right? Isn't that the big thing? That you'll give birth to a turd baby that weighs like 3 pounds if you just keep doing perks. Or so I've heard. I don't know these things. While effective for pain relief, they led to widespread addiction. Yeah, we're still dealing with that, which was not fully understood until much later. It's still not fully understood. Good Lord. Mercury. Oh yeah, dude. Mercury was once considered a cure-all, especially for syphilis, and it was used in medicine despite its toxicity. Fun fact, this will explain so much about me, by the way, if you're wondering why I am the way that I am. When I was a kid, I had a mercury thermometer. Now, did I break the thermometer and then play with the mercury with my hands and eventually consume some of it? Of course I did. Of course. Now, is that probably why I am the way that I am? Yes. Yes, it is. Was I old enough to know better? I'm going to say no, actually. I'm going to say no on this one. I was only what? 19? No, I'm kidding. I think I was like 4 or 5. I really did not know what I was doing. By the time my mom got to me, it was too late. Also, I've heard mercury, its most toxic form is fumes. So if you breathe in mercury fumes, that's bad, but everything else is not that bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to cope here, but whatever. Mercury ultimately caused more harm than good, leading to severe poisoning in many patients. Yeah, I know about that. Radium and radiation therapy. Oh boy. After Marie Curie's discovery of radium, it was marketed as a miraculous health booster in tonics, beauty creams, and even toothpaste. Oh, fuck. Imagine radium toothpaste. You're going to look like the ghoul from Fallout going, "Hey there, smooth skin." God, dude. Over time, its severe health risks, just a little radiation poisoning, became apparent, leading to regulatory crackdowns. Thank fuck. That stuff, like, that kind of thing scares me because I sometimes wonder, like, what is going to be the cigarettes of our generation, because back in the day, people smoked cigarettes. They didn't know that shit gave them cancer, or maybe they did, but they didn't really think about it. I wonder what that's going to be for us. Is it just like phone usage? Is it going to be AirPods and how like somehow the Bluetooth radiation fucks with you in a way? Like, I don't know. I try not to think about it too much because it freaks me out. But next, panacea, aspirin. Sorry, I am so sleepy. I can't even put it into words. Aspirin from 1899 to the present, derived from willow bark. I did not know that. Aspirin is used to treat pain, inflammation, and fever. Yeah, I've taken it a few times. Also reduces the risk of heart attacks and strokes, making it one of the most versatile drugs in medical history. Okay, so not exactly a cure-all, but like a harmless drug that only really helps. Like, you can't do anything against. Like, I don't think anyone's allergic to aspirin. Maybe they are. I don't know. And then penicillin, same kind of vibe, revolutionized medicine, curing bacterial infections that were once fatal. While not a universal cure, it dramatically extended human life expectancy and is still widely used today. The story of penicillin is pretty cool. You should look into that if you haven't heard about it. But next on the list, we got cortisone and steroids, for inflammation, autoimmune diseases, and allergies, pretty much. Long-term use can have pretty bad side effects, though. Antibiotics. Okay, antibiotics are a double-edged sword. Because, following penicillin, a wave of antibiotics was discovered, allowing doctors to combat bacterial infections. Here's the problem, though. A lot of people in the U.S. don't, and by a lot, I mean like 80% of people don't finish a round of antibiotics, which means that whatever bacteria are left after your almost complete round of antibiotics are now so antibiotic resistant that medicine can't really treat them. So there's been a rise of super antibiotic resistance bacteria, which is fucking scary because at some point it's going to we won't be able to treat it. And I don't know what that means. in the long term, but the thought of like a bacteria that you can't kill with medicine is fucking scary. And then 8th on the list, we got mRNA vaccines. While not a traditional cure-all, mRNA technology has opened doors to potential treatments for other diseases, including cancer and autoimmune conditions. I did see recently that cancer vaccine Russia was trying to push on its population. I'm good. I'm not anti-vax at all. I really am not. I'm Brazilian. I was a push pin when I was a child. I'm sure many vaccines were thrust upon me. But a rushed cancer vaccine, that literally sounds like the plot of I Am Legend. So I don't know if I'm quite ready to do that. But I think it's interesting they didn't mention Ozempic on here. Ozempic is sort of a cure-all, you know, if it can help with diabetes and weight loss and all these other different things that dramatically extend your life expectancy. That's kind of a cure-all, no? Yeah. Sorry, listen, I didn't mean to turn this into the fucking Dr. Amon podcast, but that's kind of just how it went, you know? Bit of a downer episode, guys. I'm so sorry about that, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to push them out, you know? Sometimes life is like a turd. You just got to push it out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, guys, you know, speaking of turd, that'll be the end of this one. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. If you're on YouTube watching this, give me a like if you could. Leave me a like, leave me a little comment. You can be whatever you want. You can be mean, you can be nice. Just any comment really helps. If you're not subscribed yet, just hit the little subscribe icon wherever it is on the screen. I have no idea. I'm just pointing in any direction. But yeah, you know, really appreciate you guys listening. Really, really, truly do appreciate you guys watching. And yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one in about 2 days. So yeah, goodbye. I love you very much. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.